I want you to have an understanding heart. Not everyone is dealt the same hand of cards. And who am I to say that my hand is better? It's how I play them. Then go back to Romans 8 and read on. Thought that Kim would have done that this morning, but obviously she's not as brilliant as I am. And so read on the verses 31 to 34. Absolute, and you will not get it next week. It's a magnificent insight into whom we are. And so I'll just maybe help you to begin. Again, chapter 8, 31 to 34. What shall we say after that? If God is for us, who can be against us? Do you really believe in your soul by what I do, by what you do, that God is for us? You know, I'm dealing with people who are awaiting tests, for very serious tests from about their physical health, waiting for the results. And I've got to, again, encourage them, and you must, to trust in God. To trust in God. And we have to do that every day as we find people, living with the Zoom world. I was listening to a TED Talk on Zoom, and as you know, I'm not the jumping up and down fan of Zoom, but the founder of Zoom says that no matter what Zoom does, we'll have to have it at the very least a hybrid, because we need one another. And that's what we got to pray for this vaccine, so that we will really remember nothing separates us from the love of God. Some days we all feel badly about our. Wouldn't want the clock to stop on that day for us and say, well, time up. Now you stand before me. But God loves us in those moments. And then that beautiful gospel. There's a story told about a tailor in Krakow. And the tailor had a dream. And see yourself now as the tailor. And he had a dream that under a tree in the grounds of the king, the royal palace in, help me, in Prague. I just want to have this as a sharing homily. Not that I forgot Prague. And so he leaves everything and he journeys off from Krakow to Prague. He gets there and the whole castle is so guarded, he cannot get in. But he's not going to be deterred. And so he kind of stays under the bridge into the castle, and eventually he becomes friends with the head of the guards. And then he opens up and they're chatting. And he says, I had a weird dream, and that's why I'm here. That there's a treasure buried under a particular tree on the grounds of the palace. And the head of the guard said, well, that's weird. I had a dream that in a poor tailor's house in Krakow, there's a treasure buried behind the stove in his own home. And so the tailor listens and takes off and goes back and digs up behind the stove and finds a magnificent treasure. There's a pearl of great price. There's a treasure in your field of your life. Priority, look for it. Look for the good in the people that you find hard to love. Look for the good in even sometimes the negative comments that you might get, or the negative moments, or the kind of disappointing moments that we all get. Because God says to you and to me, you're my treasures. Isn't that unbelievable? And guess what spade God used to unearth the treasure? Christ on the cross. And we're the great treasure that Christ finds. And he's not going to give up on us. And so God is constantly looking for the good in us and saying, and I'm throwing the rest out to be burned and destroyed, so I'm going to keep the good.